Welcome to this training video on data protection. In this video, we'll explore what data protection means in schools and why it's essential for all school staff to be aware of their responsibilities. Let's start with the basics. What is data protection? Well, data protection is all about keeping people's personal information safe and secure. Schools handle lots of personal data, things like names, addresses, health records, and more sensitive information about students, parents, and staff. It's crucial that this information is handled properly so it doesn't end up in the wrong hands or get misused. In the UK, the Data Protection Act and UK General Data Protection Regulation, known as UK GDPR, set the rules for how schools should handle personal data. These rules are based on key principles designed to protect individuals' privacy and ensure their data is used fairly, lawfully, and safely. The 7 principles of UK GDPR are lawfulness, fairness and transparency, purpose limitation, data minimization, accuracy, storage limitation, integrity and confidentiality, or security, and accountability. These principles mean that schools must only collect data for specific purposes, ensure it's accurate, store it securely, not keep it for longer than necessary, and always be able to demonstrate their compliance with data protection laws. So why is data protection important? Imagine if student records were lost, leaked, or stolen. This could lead to serious issues like identity theft, cyberbullying, or discrimination. Without proper data protection, we risk breaching the trust of students, parents, and staff. Schools also face heavy fines if they don't follow the rules. Let's say a member of staff accidentally emails a student's health record to the wrong person. This could lead to personal details being exposed, causing embarrassment or even harm. That's why following the right data protection procedures is not only a legal responsibility, but also a way to protect everyone in your school community. In schools, data is processed for several reasons: teaching, keeping students safe, and making sure the school runs smoothly. It is important to remember that personal information should only be used for legitimate reasons. Before collecting, using, or sharing any personal information, you must have something called a lawful basis. This means you need a valid legal reason to process the data, and it must fall under one of the 6 lawful bases set out in the UK GDPR. Let's go through each one. The first is consent. This is when you ask someone to agree to you using their data and they agree. Like when a parent gives permission for their child's photo to be used in a school newsletter. Next is contract. You might use this when you're doing something that's part of, or needed to enter into, a contract. For example, staff employment contracts. You will need to process personal data of your staff, such as their name, address, and bank details, to process payroll and ensure they're paid on time. Then there's legal obligation. This applies when the law says you must do something, like you're reporting pupil attendance or sharing information with the Department for Education. Vital interests is used in situations where it's necessary to protect someone's life. A good example is sharing medical information in an emergency. Public task is one you'll see a lot in schools. It means you're carrying out an official duty in the public interest, like safeguarding children, supporting health services, or delivering education. Finally, there's legitimate interests. This is mainly used by private organisations, but it can apply in some cases where schools are acting in ways that people would reasonably expect, and the data use doesn't override their rights. Choosing the right lawful basis is an important part of data protection. If you're ever unsure which one applies, speak to your data protection officer. The Information Commissioner's Office, an independent regulator for data protection, also known as the ICO, have a tool on their website that helps you work out which lawful basis applies to your situation. Just search ICO Lawful Basis Interactive Guidance Tool and it will take you through the steps. So what are some things you can do with personal information and what should you avoid? Schools can share personal data, but only when it's necessary, and you must have a clear reason to do so. Check the ICO's Data Sharing Code of Practice to make sure you are sharing and processing personal data lawfully. If you are unsure, speak to your data protection officer. For example, your school may need to share basic information about pupils and their parents' contact details with the NHS immunisation team to help them run vaccination programmes effectively. This sharing is justifiable as schools have a public task to support public health services. But remember, sharing of contact details does not mean a vaccine will be given to a child. A parent or carer will still need to give their consent for a vaccine to be administered. Another example of when it is appropriate to share personal data is when you're doing so to safeguard and promote a child's well-being. In this case, you can share relevant information with other professionals if you believe a child is at risk of harm. You must follow the 7 data protection principles when you share information. Only share what's needed to help other professionals understand what support or action the child may need. Always document your reasons for sharing and make sure data is shared securely in line with UK GDPR and the Data Protection Act 2018 requirements. For more data protection guidance on safeguarding children, see the ICO's 10-step guide to sharing information to safeguard children. What happens if things go wrong? Mistakes happen, like information getting lost, stolen, accidentally deleted, being sent to or discussed with the wrong person. When this happens, you must act quickly, as these may be examples of data breaches. If a breach happens, your first step should be to report it to your school's data protection officer. They will then assess the situation and decide whether it needs to be reported to the ICO. It's important to follow your school's data protection policy or data breach procedures to make sure you're handling the situation correctly. If the breach isn't managed properly, it can lead to serious consequences for both the school and the individuals involved. Every school has a data protection officer, or DPO for short. Their role is to make sure the school complies with all data protection laws and policies, advise staff on data protection safe practices, minimise and prevent data risks, and report serious breaches to the ICO. If you're ever unsure about how to handle personal information or think there might be a breach, the Data Protection Officer, or Data Protection Lead, is your go-to person for advice and guidance. It's important to understand that your school's Data Protection Officer might not be based at your school, may work for more than one organisation, or could have another role alongside being the Data Protection Officer. You should be able to find out how to contact them by familiarising yourself with your school's data protection policies. To wrap up, here are a few key points to remember. Make sure you handle personal information with care and only use it for valid reasons. Always ensure you have a legitimate lawful basis before sharing personal information when needed. Be aware of your school's data protection policies. Finally, if something goes wrong, report it to your data protection officer immediately. By understanding and following data protection, you're helping protect the privacy and safety of your students and colleagues. Search Data Protection in Schools on gov.uk for more data protection guidance and information.